especially now that my hair is a little longer. It takes me longer to trim. But a dusting, I can just go boom, 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 and I can pretty much be done. Hey guys, welcome back, welcome back. What's going on, subbies? And what's up, newbies? Now, just in case you're a little confused. Subbies, that's everybody that's already been checking me out. And newbies, that's anybody checking me out, maybe for the first time, maybe for the second. But you know what? It really doesn't matter around here. It really don't. I just want my subbies and my newbies to come on in, come on in, come on in. Okay, so today's gonna be, it's gonna be kind of a quickie, okay? Now, you guys know that I trim every 4 weeks, basically, okay? So I do a dusting at 4 weeks, and then I do a trim when I relax. And just in case you don't know the difference between the two, a dusting is just that. It's exactly how it sounds. It is you taking the very tippy tip ends off of your hair. And then a trim is basically, to me, it's like an inch or more. It's not an exact measurement. I'm just giving you a roundabout. But of course, a trim is more than a dusting. Dusting is basically taking off the very ends of your hair. And I do this basically to maintain my style as well as keep up with my ends. So with that being said, it just helps me and my hair. I've been doing that for years. Yada, yada, yada. So some of you guys, and you know who you are, you guys have been asking me about a trim video. Basically to see how I trim my hair, especially now that it's a little longer. So I figured this would be good because I did do a trim video. Okay, that'll be down below. I did do an initial trim video, and I basically trim the same way. Even with my hair being longer, I just reach around, and I'll show you when I do the dusting. But I figure a dusting would be a nice little compromise because, again, I trim and dust basically the same way, but the difference is a trim is a little bit more detailed. It's a little bit more involved for me, especially now that my hair is a little longer. It takes me longer to trim. But a dusting, I can just go all around and just boom, 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 and I can pretty much be done. So I figured today, you know, we're going to do a little dusting. I think I did a dusting before in one of my videos, but that's okay. This one is going to be devoted to dusting. And it shouldn't take too long. Again, I just take off the very ends, but just to give you an idea of what I do and how much I take off. So if you guys are ready, I am ready as well. And we're going to jump right into it. So I am going to basically trim around, and I'm not going to touch my bangs because I'm going to actually cut them pretty soon because, you know, we got a check-in. Okay, we got a check-in coming up. So I'm gonna wait on the bangs. I'm not gonna dust the bangs. I usually don't dust my bangs. I just trim them. I'm not gonna do that today. We're just gonna dust around and you get an idea of how I dust. Now, of course, because I turned on the camera and I'm gonna be dusting, I got some static in my hair. You see it, you'll see it when I comb it. And yes, I've been using my wooden combs that I have been so happy to have received and bought, but they're not quite seasoned yet. So I sort of did a pre-comb and it was still lifting up. So I'm just going to do the plastic comb. Okay. Now I'm going to use my handy dandy scissors. Okay. Now these are by Dark Stag. Again, for all those who are not familiar, these are the scissors that I use, but it doesn't matter about the brand per se, but you want something that's sharp. You want something that's devoted to cutting hair. You don't want anything that's going to be, you know, you don't want kitchen scissors. You don't want anything that's used on paper or that your kids take to kindergarten or preschool and use on construction paper. You don't want that. You want something that's super sharp and devoted to cutting hair. That way you get the best results. And dull scissors, that can have your hair be more frayed at the ends and give you more split ends. It can basically jack up your ends. You want a clean cut. You don't want anything that's jagged. You want a clean, precise cut. And hair shears or hair scissors, those are made for just that, to do just that. So these are the tools that we are going to use in addition to our fingers. So when you trim your hair, anytime you're trying to trim or dust, and it's best to use the top 2 knuckles, okay? 1 and 2. You see where your ridges are on your fingers, where they bend? Those are your knuckles. So you want to use the top 2 knuckles of your fingers in order to really grab and capture the hair that you are trying to trim. Top 2 knuckles will give you more security, and it'll give you a better grab, if you will, as opposed to letting it go down to your 3rd knuckle, which is where your hand starts. You don't want it to go in here, because the way your fingers are made, there's a loop there. And so while you're trying to trim, the hair can come loose through that loop, and then it won't give you a precise cut, or as precise as what you would want. So with that being said, it's best to use your top 2 knuckles. So I'm going to start with the side. I'm just going to be looking at the mirror from time to time so I don't jack this up. Not too much, but it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so we're just going to, I like to just come around, and I'm hoping you can see this. So my ends look pretty, again, I have static going on and everything, but I think you can see. I just comb it down, and then I just like to go around the perimeter, okay? The perimeter of my head. And I usually stand up and just go like this, but I'm trying to make it so that you can see what I'm doing. Wow, that static is really, I'm hoping you can see. I'm left-handed, so I'm trying to, maybe I should do the other side. Hopefully you can see. Okay, hopefully you can you see this? But I take it all the way down, focusing in on the top 2 knuckles, okay, to really grab this hair. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to take the very ends off, just like that. You can barely see me cutting what I'm cutting because I'm taking the very ends off. So I'm just doing that. I'm just following the shape of my hair, and I just go like this. Then I let that down. And I just do this all around, you know. I just, again, when I do my dusting, I'm standing up, and my head is leaned over, and I let my hair hang, okay? And I just sort of freehand it and go like this when I do my little dusting. Okay, so I'm going to do the next part. And that's not that bad. That's not that bad. I'm not even going to touch that. I mean, I could, well, I guess I could touch that. I mean, you know, since we're demonstrating, I guess I can touch that. Oh, that looks like a split end. Oh, yep, got to get that. And there you go. But I just bring it down. Hold it tight. Top 2 knuckles. And that's pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty much untouchable. We don't need to touch that one. Okay? So we can all touch and agree that that one doesn't need to be touched. Moving right along. So if you look and see, my ends don't need too much, okay? But if they were all willy-nilly, I would take this and trim. Because I keep up with my trims, I don't really have to do too much. Okay, so I do that all around. And as you can see, it's not that bad, okay? And then, of course, I do this side. I come to the side. and I do this side. But I'm going to trim just a little bit right here. Okay. Just like in my trim video, I bring everything down and I trim the perimeter. I bring it down and I trim the perimeter. So I just take what's down at the bottom, and any like stray hair, anything that looks a little bit jaggedy, okay? Jagged, jacked up, anything that just looks like it's in arrears, I just sort of trim that up a little bit, just a little bit. I do a dusting. And then sometimes I may bring it out to the 45. Again, when I trim my hair, I do the blunt cut, which is straight across, okay, all around the circumference. And then I do a 45, and then I do a 90. 45 meaning I bring out my hair this way and then cut. And then 90, I bring it straight out and then cut straight up, okay? So the way that I bring it out, that's the way that I cut it. But when I dust, I just sometimes just do a little 45 and call it a day. So I just pull it out. Again, focusing on the top two knuckles of my fingers. And then that's when I trim. Just going to trim very little off. Ooh-wee, look at that static. I do section by section. Bring this out. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. I'm just taking off the very tip, okay? So, okay. But I noticed that when I keep up with my dustings, my trims and my dustings become less as far as how much I have to trim off. Now, when it comes to the back, because I know all y'all, that's the money shot. As far as what I do to the back. Again, it's not that dramatic. What I do is, I showed you guys in a different video that what I do is I comb it. I make sure it's straight. And then I grab the bottom. I'll bring this up and I'll trim it that way. And again, I'm in a mirror. I can feel where my fingers have come down on my hair. And I bring the scissors right up to whatever hair is hanging through my fingers, and I cut like that, the way my fingers are going. And sometimes I'll even comb it. I bend my head down. I comb it. And then, to be sure, to double check, I'll bring it down. And then I'll slide my fingers down. This way. And then I look in the mirror and I see where I'm supposed to cut that way too. So I would just cut the very tips of my ends for the dusting. And that's pretty much it. And then I do the next section. I take the corner section and a little bit of the middle. I move this out the way and I just bring this down. Bring this up. Then I bring it forward. And then I trim whatever's coming off the top. And I just do that all the way around. And that's pretty much it. That's all that I do for my dustings. I don't do a whole lot. Again, because it's just quick maintenance for me. Okay, so a dusting should be just quick maintenance. So I wanted to show you that again, with keeping up with your dustings and trims, how you see fit, you can really mitigate a lot of the breakage and split ends that you can accumulate if they're not taken care of. Because we all know that split ends lead to breakage. And the whole point is to retain length. Even if you're not trying to grow your hair to the back of your knees, you still want your hair to be healthy. So you want to keep your trims at some type of interval. You want to keep a trim routine pretty much to keep split ends from showing up and showing out. Because we don't like when split ends show out, honey, because they eat up the length retention. So I just want to give you a little pointer as well. I know some people, they bring their hair forward, cut straight across, and trim their ends that way. Now I'm just going to tell you that that will give you a V shape in the back. When you bring your hair forward and trim straight across like that, it's going to be more of a V shape instead of, I like a flattened U or a blunt shape. So you won't get a blunt cut if you bring it forward. Some people like the V shape. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's all about personal choice. And you know what we say around here, everybody got free choice to do what they want to do with their hair. One size does not fit all. So if you like a V shape, then that's how you would get it. Split it in the middle, bring it forward, bring it on down, and cut, cut, cut. So I just wanted to come in here really quickly and just give y'all the skinny on how I dust my ends. Again, it's nothing new to those who have seen my trimming video. Again, my trimming video is a lot more detailed. It's a lot more detailed because I took a lot more off. That was my big chop, if you will. But I took a lot more off, so I really took my time, but not as much time as I do now because I'm not taking off too much. You know what I mean? Like that trim video, I was able to take off as much as I wanted to because I was cutting to the white meat. I had a gap in the back and I cut it to the white meat. That's what we do around here. At least that's what I do. We don't like gaps. We don't like thinning ends or anything like that. So we basically take it on a chin on the front end, meaning we deal with it now so that we don't have to deal with it later and it progresses to something else. So that's what I did in that trimming video. So that basically has all the same mechanics that I do with a dusting, including now that it's longer, I basically do the same thing, except now I reach around because I trim my hair by myself. You don't have to cue the sad music. I'm okay with that. I do it by myself, okay? The lone kitchen beautician. I'm doing my own hair. So I just reach around and I bring it up and do all that, what I just showed you. But that's basically it. So I'm not going to belabor this anymore. Y'all saw me dust and y'all already got the trim. So I think we are all caught up. What do you think? I think we are, and we about to skedaddle up in this piece. So that wasn't too bad, right? We were in and out, okay? I want to thank you so much for dialing in and showing up. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. And yeah, we'll be back talking about some more stuff. Honey, you gotta come back because we talking about some more stuff. So you gotta come back for that. So you already know. It's going to be the same Dolce dial. It's going to be the same Dolce channel. So you come on back. All right.